Thank you for taking some time for yourself. Have you ever noticed how a single minute can stretch into what feels like an hour or disappeared before you even know it begun? Isn't it curious whether time itself actually changes, or whether it's just how your body, your breath and your focus respond to the moment? You might begin to wonder if your perception of time is already beginning to soften and bend as you settle in now. Some people notice that when they're experiencing joy, time flies, and when they're waiting, uncertain, time slows to a crawl. And just by being here now, you can begin to feel into that rhythm, where even the passage of time begins to feel optional. You might notice whether the body is feeling heavier or lighter, or both in different places, and whether your mind can begin to drift towards something softer, slower, quieter. I once knew someone who felt they had to have all the answers right away, like binge watching Stranger Things back to back, scrolling endlessly through Instagram reels, trying to make sense of everything at once. Clarity was their comfort, but something shifted. Have you ever caught yourself wondering whether rushing to solve things quickly, like switching rapidly between Netflix shows or refreshing your internet browser, actually makes the unknown feel bigger, more than it really is? Sometimes ambiguity feels like a mysterious fog in Twin Peaks, where everything feels uncertain and confusing. Other times, it's more like the quiet moment between tracks on your Spotify playlist, an unexpected space where something new can begin. Maybe you're starting to notice if your body's been holding tight to old patterns, like the comfort of your favorite hoodie or the familiarity of a well-loved Starbucks order. Whether right here, right now, in this gentle pause, it's possible to take a deep breath and let it go. Perfect. You might begin to notice how when the need to understand gets heavier, it almost feels like carrying a weight that wasn't there before. Maybe your thoughts have circled that same question again and again, not because it's urgent, but because it's left open, unresolved. And if you kept holding tight to that need for clarity, you might have recognized how your body tensed, your mind sped up, and things started to feel heavier, harder to bear. You already know that feeling, the spiral, the tightening grip, the rush of anxiety that says, I need answers now, even when none come. And isn't it curious how that tension can grow, making everything feel more urgent, more uncomfortable, even though nothing outside has actually changed? You know that feeling when the TV's on in the background? Maybe it's a rerun of Friends or Law and Order, something familiar, something you've seen before. You're kinda watching it, but also folding clothes, stirring dinner, half listening to a Zoom call, maybe sipping something warm. Your attention moves like soft light, not fixed anywhere, just grazing. You know the story well enough that you don't need to follow it. You can float above it, around it, as if it's happening somewhere else, as your body, your real body is here, feet on the floor, breath slowing down, muscles unwinding, like the way you sink into your favorite spot on the couch. After a long, full day, you don't have to fix anything. You don't have to figure anything out, because the story just goes on and you're grazing, watching from a distance, but also resting into something soft, calm, open, and maybe now there's a sense of quiet kindness that begins to settle in your chest. You didn't even notice it arriving, but it's here. And that's enough. You've probably felt it before. That strange sensation when time seems to stretch or shrink, depending on what you're feeling. And maybe, just maybe, it isn't you just reacting to time. What if time had feelings too? What if right now time could speak back to you? If I were time, this is what I would say. Hello, I'm time. You don't always notice me, but I've always noticed you. I've watched you rush through moments that wanted to unfold slowly. I've watched you freeze in moments that were ready to move on. I've seen how your thoughts race ahead, how your breath once held back, trying to catch up. Sometimes I try and stretch for you, to give you more room to think, to feel, to choose. But when you grip too tightly, I feel squeezed, like I can't breathe either. I want you to know, I'm not here to trap you. I'm the quiet pause before a meaningful choice. I'm the space between impulse and insight. When you ask, if I say this, if I choose that, what might happen next? I open. I give you room to sense it, to imagine it, to feel it, to unfold. I can slow down when you're ready. I can give you more space than you think. I don't need you to rush. I need you to notice. Because when you're with me, fully with me, I can show you what matters. When you stop spinning the wheel, even just for a moment, I can become your anchor, holding you steady in this moment and the next. Have you ever noticed how sometimes your body feels the urge to move or speak, and just as naturally it holds back, pausing in that quiet space between impulse and action? Perhaps your mind shifts in a similar way, sometimes racing forward with thoughts, other times gently slowing down, as if time itself feels slowed and constrained, like being squeezed, unable to flow freely because you're gripping so hard. Time might wonder, why is this person rushing me so much? Why do they fear my natural pauses, my quiet spaces between moments? You might sense time's frustration, how it resists your resistance, hurried by your need to fill every empty space with answers, not realizing uncertainty is part of its own rhythm, the spaces where possibility quietly live. And if time could speak, it might whisper, relax your hold on me. Let me stretch and shrink as I will. Trust me to carry you through the unknown. I am not the enemy of clarity. I am the container for its unfolding. You can notice yourself to notice. You can allow yourself to notice the natural ebb and flow inside you the dance between moving forward and holding still, between speaking out and silent observation. You might begin to experience those pauses, motor and verbal inhibition, a skillful waiting, a space where new understanding begins. And as you allow time to stretch and soften with you, now you become more open to seeing ambiguity as a rhythm to be embraced. Because what if time's pause, the gentle stillness between moments, was quietly creating opportunities for you? Some decisions feel urgent, but some that urgency is like a shadow on a wall, a shape that looks real but changes when you look closer. Have you ever wondered whether you're choosing because it truly resonates with your deepest self, or whether you're simply trying to outrun the discomfort of waiting? You can allow yourself to ask, am I moving forward with ease and harmony, or simply reacting to a rush that time itself doesn't ask of me? Now imagine time watching with quiet patience, like a calm river flowing, slowing endlessly, wishing you to move gently and wisely. Time might think, if I could speak, I'd ask you to pause, to release the stone of unhurried expectation into the water, letting those ripples fade, so true clarity can settle softly, like a steady weight in your hand. You can have the experience of gently dropping that stone of hurried expectation into the water, watching the ripples gently dissolve quietly into calm. And you can feel the steady presence of alignment, deep, unforced, and natural, guiding your next step. Time would remind you that rushing isn't the same as progress. Yielding pressure is not the same as wisdom. Sometimes it probably hopes you'll choose to pause, to rest in that quiet space between moments where your authentic self can surface naturally. You'll begin to move more often from that place of true alignment. Naturally pause when it's not yet fully present. And as you move with this new sense, you may find reality itself feels a little softer, a little more open to symbols, to feeling, to the logic of your deeper mind. Perhaps if time had a voice that would quietly say, I'm here flowing with you. There's no need to rush, for the right choice grows strongest in the waiting. And now you can allow your mind to gently separate the feeling from the fact. Imagine time itself slowing down around you, stretching out the moments between thought and feeling, creating a wide, gentle space where each sensation can unfold, as if time is holding its breath just for you. You might begin to realize the emotion shifting shape, like light bending through water, flowing in slow motion, fluid and flexible, its meaning softening, becoming optional, not fixed. You can hold the feeling in one hand, the decision in the other, feeling the space between them widen, deepen, like time itself expanding to give you the room to choose. And as the noise and tension fade further away, the desired outcome begins to glow brighter, clearer, illuminated by the generous flow of time. You can sense a difference, the fear moving back, distant and less urgent, while your focus steps forward, strong and steady. And now you can choose to amplify the calm, the clarity, the confident next step, while time gently bends, stretches around you, supports your growth, giving you more space, more freedom, and more ease with every breath. You might begin to realize whether you've already made more mindful choices than you've ever given yourself credit for. You can allow yourself to feel impressed, even for this very moment where presence quietly replaced panic. Imagine time watching slowly, like a river flowing on, sometimes carrying memories gently downstream, sometimes inviting them to rest beneath the surface. I knew someone once who never noticed the small shifts until one day those shifts quietly grew, changing everything without needing to be held onto consciously. You can feel that now. How sometimes you can forget to remember to forget, like time's natural rhythm, where moments dissolve and reform, allowing change to happen deeply and effortlessly beyond the mind's grasp. You'll find more moments where your responses are deliberate, your awareness is your strength, and as you let go and surrender to this flow, you might discover that forgetting is simply another way that time helps you remember. And now you can begin to recognize that this clarity and calm don't belong only to this moment. You can notice whether the pause, the breath, the gentle flow of time's unfolding rhythm might also serve you in meetings, in conversations, quiet decisions where no one else sees. You can allow this way of being, this dance with time, uncertainty and choice to extend to all those other uncertain spaces. Later, when ambiguity appears again, and it will, you'll feel the return of this same pause, this same calm, and this same knowing. Because what you've built here with time as your quiet companion can travel with you, carrying you through moments unknown, reminding you that time is not your enemy, but the container for all unfolding possibility. And now, I wonder whether your mind has already begun to notice just how different the room feels when you bring a little more of yourself back into it, whether your breath has already changed, maybe a little deeper, a little more present. Some people begin to stretch slightly even before they realize their body was ready to wake. I've seen moments like this where someone returns from a pause with just a little more softness behind their eyes, a little more space in their thoughts. You can allow yourself, if you like, to gently return now to the surface of this moment. You can begin to notice the sounds in the room, the light behind your eyelids if they're closed, the way your body begins to shift and reawaken, whether your awareness returns all at once or like sunlight gradually rising. You can trust your system to know how. And I wonder if there's already been a part of you curious about this sense of calm, this relationship with time might show up again later today, tomorrow, or in a moment when you need it most. You can allow yourself to carry this spaciousness forward Take a deep breath in. Stretch out, wriggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes. Welcome back. You're perfect, just as you are.